Welcome to the Practice Podcast, a show created by lawyers to help lawyers in life and business without all the complicated lawyer language. Let's welcome Bast Amron founders and your hosts, Jeff Bast and Brett Amron.
Nelson,
give us the 2 thumbs up. This guy. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Brett.
How are you?
How am I?
Uh-oh. Answering a question with a question.
I am present.
Uh-oh. He is present.
I'm here. It's been a rough couple of weeks.
It has been.
We don't need to go into history. We're here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy to be here with our special guest and, of course, Nelson. I have a question for you. What is the best advice you've ever received? And it's,
wow.
Really, I say it. You ask
Don't
it
eat
that,
yellow
ask
snow.
It that way, but it's really like, what's some good advice?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Don't eat yellow snow?
Yeah.
Did you receive that advice when you were
after I ate yellow snow?
Going to be in the process of eating yellow snow?
What was the best advice? Wow.
We have a podcast. We're still here. I want people to know that.
I like the awkward
silence on a podcast.
So I would say that this came from a brilliant woman
named Maria.
Don't give away her guest name now, but another brilliant woman besides our guest today. And it was, it'll work out. It'll all work out.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate that advice from Lauren Amron.
There you go. There's not, exactly.
All right, good stuff. Our guest today is Maria. I know you're eagerly awaiting me saying her last name because you're just convinced.
This is me sitting over here trying to do a podcast, and here you are.
I'm not even going to go with the Gringo version. I'm going for it.
Gringo.
Maria Desvergunat.
Wow.
Wait, is a senior paralegal. I know. I've only worked with her for 12 years. But Maria we're going to stick with Maria from that.
Maria
is a senior paralegal at Bast Amron, and she has been with the firm since 2012. 12 years. Wow.
And for historians in the crowd,
it is. We're recording this at
that is 3 years after.
3 years after we started the firm. So, a near beginner.
I feel like she's been with us since the beginning. Though.
Exactly.
Feels that way.
Maria's focus is on commercial and bankruptcy litigation matters in both state and federal courts. She has experience assisting attorneys in the representation of court-appointed fiduciaries, trustees, receivers, corporations, individuals, debtors, creditors. Maria received her associate's degree from Miami-Dade Community College. She also serves as a children's volunteer at her local church. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
She's also the mother of a wonderful, beautiful.
If I might say, there are a few people that I've encountered in the world that I would say are the best version of humanity, and I'd say Maria is right up there.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's good.
I mean, honestly.
That's a good one.
All around. Well rounded.
I'll say this, just more tailored to the firm. We have adopted core values at our firm. They're on our website. They used to be on a wall. And when we drafted those, we've had Maria in mind. Mm-hmm. We knew that, like, when you're preparing your core values, like, who's the person that embodies the spirit and the value system of your firm? And Maria was certainly one of probably 2 people.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Maria's our standard bearer.
Say George is the other one.
George. Maria's our standard bearer, right? She started with us as a file clerk, right? And back in the day when we were in an old space and not as mature and evolved as we are today. And so we had Maria sitting in the copy room, right, on a high chair with a high sort of countertop. And God, that must have been uncomfortable. And I'm so sorry for that.
I actually worked out on my core a lot during that.
So there you go. See, looking at the positive side of everything, I got a good core out of it.
Maria was the answer to a question I had. I received a question when I was a guest on a podcast that was about leadership. And they said, what was my best example of leadership or something to that effect. And I talked about you and how for us, we saw in you someone who had capabilities beyond, your job. Mm-hmm. And you just have so far surpassed, anything we ever imagined of you. So enough now that your ego is completely inflated, because we know you're really always walking around thumping your chest at everyone.
Really? We brought the tissues for Jeff.
How did you end up working at a law firm and why? What are you doing?
Not just any law firm. I mean, I'll say it.
Here or just like in general?
Let's start general. You tell us.
I was working as an office clerk in a manufacturer And I kind of wanted to leave that place. So my sister-in-law actually was like, hey, I work at this firm. We're looking for file clerks and we would like to have you. So just submit your resume. And that's really how I got in because of my sister-in-law. I was there in that firm, I think, for a few years before that big layoff. I think that was like 2007, 2008. Pretty much my whole department got laid off.
Laid off, wow.
Yeah. And then from there, I jumped to another firm. And I was there for another few years before I decided to go on maternity leave for 2 years with my son. Mm-hmm. After that, that's when actually my sister-in-law, once again, she's the one that provided me with the email when you guys were looking.
Wow.
And she's like, because I think she was part of like the legal assistants. So she is the one that provided me once again a job. And I landed. It just happened.
So we have her to thank.
Yeah. What's her name? Can we just thank her?
Sure. Her name is Kazaya.
Kazaya, thank you, Kazaya.
Cool. Thank you for Maria.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Hopefully she's listening.
I'm sure she will.
Can we make sure let's make sure she hears it. So going from a manufacturing job to life in a law firm, did you say, okay, I really like working in a law firm, I want to stay with this, or did it just happen to work out that way?
It just kind of happened to work out that way. It wasn't something that I was really looking forward to. Like, that wasn't something that I really ever had in mind, but it just happened. And I'm glad it happened. I liked it. So I just stuck with it.
Yeah. No, I think as far as an office job goes, the law firm is a pretty dependable pay and generally civil people, right? You know?
Yes.
So congrats.
Thanks.
I'm glad. So
that's a wrap.
Yeah, there you go. So you started in our office as a file clerk. Like we said, you were sitting at a counter on a stool working on your core. And then we approached you about becoming a paralegal, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any reservations about that?
I do remember thinking, can I do this? But then for some reason, I was very confident. I think you and I spoke, and I think you said something along the lines like, why stop you growing? Mm-hmm. And then I was just like, wow, like, I never really thought about that. And I was like, yeah, like, why stop growing? Like, let's move into this next phase if it's something that you're interested in. And I mean, ever since then, I mean, like, it was definitely growth, and growth comes with all sorts of challenges,
right.
But
that's how you grow,
yes.
right? The challenge and overcoming and meeting a challenge. Mm-hmm. Because if there's no challenges, life's pretty boring.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's that saying, something like growth happens outside your comfort zone or something like that, or the edges of your comfort zone or something like that. So you gave, we had a post on LinkedIn, a profile of you, and you gave advice for someone new joining the team. And you wrote, have a teachable spirit. I have been able to learn from everyone on this team. Also share the knowledge and wisdom you bring so we can all grow together. Well, what do you mean by have a teachable spirit? I love that.
I think it's just being open to be taught and to teach both ways, just coming and going. You know, I think a lot of people can either be closed or want to just keep their knowledge and not want to share it.
Right.
And I've seen that. And it's like, I mean, if you want your team to grow and if you want other people to help you eventually, you have to teach them what you know. Otherwise, you're always going to be suffering in one way or another. Yeah. You're never going to be able... You're always going to be like that one person in that one island. Right. And you're never going to be able to have like a support system to help you when you are like overwhelmed.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I like that. I think for some people, they may have a tendency to want to, if they have a unique skill set, they don't want to share it because they feel like it makes them more valuable. But you don't really want to be the only person that has a particular skill set. I think people want that, but then you can't go on vacation. You're always needed. And if something happens, then what? Now you're trying to figure it out while you're, God forbid, on whatever, somewhere where you don't want to be working. But I also think, as you talked about that just now, I thought that advice is probably what makes you a great mom, too. You know, as a parent, you're a teacher, but you're also willing to learn. And I think Brett, same thing, great father. Teaches, but it's probably like I am right now. I'm learning more from my kids than I'm teaching them. So they get to a point where the student becomes the teacher becomes the student. And I think it's a growth trajectory for us all.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, if you shut down, right? I mean, think about it when you graduate school, whatever level of school that is, the idea is like, all right, I'm done learning. Right? Like, I'm done. No, of course not, you know? And as we get older, not you, but the two of us sitting here get older, that's how you stay engaged. That's how you stay younger. That's how your brain, you got to keep using your brain. And how do you do that? You have to find things and be open to learning and receiving that information. And that's not always easy for people, right? Like as Jeff said, a 20-year-old, I'm going to call him and ask him about an issue in politics or an issue around the world or really any issue because, he's way smarter than me. But you got to be open to receiving that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it comes, at least for me, it comes also probably for my parents, just because they teach a lot in their church. So I think it's just like my natural instinct to do that and to learn. So it's just like a natural instinct for me. I guess for some people it probably is not, but at least for me it is.
You're open. Can you talk?
Yeah, I was going to say faith is super important, I know, to you and in your life and your family life. And you mentioned your parents. They have a church, or tell us a little bit about. If you're willing to tell us a little bit.
It's fine. Yeah, both of my parents are kind of co-pastors at their church, but they pretty much started also as teachers there, and they moved up to that co-pastor role, and they're kind of directors, and they oversee small groups in their church.
Where is this?
It's in Hialeah. It's a Hispanic church. I'm sure if I say it, you guys will not know where it is.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't know if you want it or not. No, I was just curious. Okay.
We're going to have a quiz later.
and they're co-pastors, or is that, forgive my ignorance?
No, it's fine. It's just they assist. They assist the main pastors.
Oh, okay. So
they also go on mission trips. So they have missions in my country, actually, in Nicaragua. They just went to a missions trip over there. So it's beautiful to see, how they've grown in that area and how they continue to share what they have, and share, and it just material, spiritual, whatever it is. So I feel like I've learned from them that.
So you had that as a young child and have grown up with that, and that's where you get it from. Yes. That's phenomenal. You mentioned you're from Nicaragua. Yes. At what age did you come to the United States, or were you born here?
I came when I was less than 1 year.
Okay.
1 year old. So I've been here pretty much all my life.
But you go back with...
The last time I was back, I think it was about 12 years ago. It was, probably before I started working here. That was the last time I went.
Do you have a sense of from your visits or from your parents, what life in Nicaragua was for them and then how it is now?
The last time I went, or the first time I went, my dad took us to where he grew up, and it was dirt poor, palm trees. It was dirt poor. So when I saw that, I just had an appreciation for where I am right now, from where he came from to where I am right now. And just being thankful and grateful, he was able to grow in his own sense and bring us here, and do the best that he can, as an immigrant parent, they go through their own troubles and they did the best they could, So I'm very grateful, that he was able to take me back there, and I can see where I come from, but it's really sad when I think about it. Thank you for the tissue boxes. But I'm also very grateful when I saw that, and I saw his struggles, and I saw where he came from and how he tried to do the best he could for us.
Well, he did really well. I'd say that.
Yeah. How long ago was this?
That was over 12 years ago. I first went when I was a teenager, and then I went back after having JJ, my eldest.
But when you went as a 12-year-old, you saw the same thing, or as a teenager.
Yeah, that was the first time.
But it didn't really resonate with you, right? In the same way as it did when you went back as a parent.
It always does hit me because his family's still there. All his family's still there, and they're still very poor. When we go back, when I went back the last time. So, I just see how him leaving has only bettered our lives, And just, it's just, to me, it's crazy. Right. It's crazy when I go back and I see it, and I'm just wow.
And you were 1 year old. How old were your parents when they left?
I think they were either in their 20s, early 20s, 30s.
And so for them, that was probably a very scary journey as well. They're leaving their family.
Yes. It was, I think there was communism going on. That's why we left. So we decided to leave and obviously come to a better place.
Right, but that's not an easy journey.
It's not
going
at all.
To a foreign
country. You don't even know where you're going.
No.
Right? Did they come right to Florida? Or?
They went to Brownsville, Texas, I think, first. My sister was almost born there, but they ended up at Miami, Florida. Otherwise, I would have been in Texas at this time. Probably.
And why did they end up in Miami? Was it work?
I think prior uncle or aunt had already been here. So they kind of paved the way and they just decided to join them.
Yeah. And I think that's obviously a journey for your family, but as it's very clear that for you, your witnessing of that journey gives you a great appreciation for what your parents gave, and you probably are transferring that to your kids. And it's amazing how gratitude is such an important characteristic, I suppose, for you.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I feel if you don't have that, like, you will always look to see something to complain about. You have to be grateful. You're alive. You're here. You have so much more than the rest of the country or the world has, you know. We're like the richest nations or one of the richest nations. So why not be grateful? Like, why not? I mean,
well, it's very hard for people that don't have the ability to have the experience that you had, maybe even, or even like when you travel sometimes, even if you're not going back to your homeland and seeing family, when you travel, sometimes you get a sense of that depending on where you go. But there's a lot of people that don't, you know, and so maybe I don't know. I love the fact, like when I travel and I see it, I love the cultural aspect of it, but I also love the sort of the contrast and seeing that as well. And I think maybe people just don't get that opportunity, and
that's true.
Just to ground them a little bit, you know.
But even I suppose, again, I've never been there, but in these communities, they don't have a lot, but their happiness level is probably a lot higher than
true.
You know, many people here
in the United States,
who have so much and just don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're getting kind of deep today. I didn't know we were going deep. I thought this was going to be.
We shake it up.
I got those tissues before Joe had just, but we might bust them out. So, you know, for those who, you know, you've now had the benefit of working at a few different law firms. How would you describe life in a law firm to someone who's never worked in a law firm, someone who wants to work at a desk, you know, not out in the sun or on a construction site?
I guess
chaos.
Controlled chaos. I mean, if you like that high pace, like challenging work, this is where it is, I think. That's one of the things that I always think of, you know, this work is challenging, but it's rewarding at the same time, you know. It's also one of the things I mentioned, I think, in one of the things that I think it was the LinkedIn profile thing. Yeah. It says, what is the thing that you like most? It's the relationships, you know.
Yeah.
But I think
the relationship that you built with people.
Right, absolutely. That you work because you're here pretty much your whole day is here, you know, and you get to meet these great people and you guys and
great people and us.
And I didn't mean it like that. No, I did not
mean it. Great people and you guys.
I did not read it like that.
And we're done.
Oh my God. So yes, relationships, definitely. It's a big thing. I've been at other firms and I would say I did not have what I have here. Yeah. Those relationships were not, definitely. It was, I felt like a number there in those other firms. So I'm glad I landed here. That's for sure.
Oh, we are too. You've built relationships outside of the firm with people that work here too, right? Which I don't know if that's unusual or not. I don't know.
Meaning they're friends outside.
Yeah, they're friends outside, right? I mean, I know that you have contact and get together with people outside the office as well, which, you know, I don't know. Is that unusual? Like when you talk to other people you know in a law firm, like, do they do that too? Or I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
Trips. Some people have traveled together. Yeah. You know, I think it's great.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. It builds the culture and it just, you know, when you work with somebody that you're become friends with and, you know, have a deeper relationship with. So
I think it's good I think it's good.
I don't want to see Jeff outside the office, but I'm just saying, I mean,
have people enjoy working with each other.
I stumped him for a second. He was thinking about something.
My feelings are a little hurt. Give me those tissues.
No, Jeff just doesn't want to see me outside. It's okay.
So we can never see enough Bast Amron, but
that's
so
true.
Fast.
That's
it's
true.
hard to see.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the idea of building relationships with people and caring about people, you know, I think every firm or many businesses promote the idea of like a familial environment or a collegial environment or something like that. And I'm not saying we do it better than anyone else, but I mean, you've said it, I say it. This legitimately is my family. I legitimately think of these people as my family. And we care deeply about what happens to them when someone's struggling. You can tell usually, or somebody's, you know, a family member has an issue. Everyone steps up and no one's told, hey, you should check on whoever.
Yeah.
they just do that, And that's when I think the true measure of a relationship is when someone is having difficulty. How do people react and how do they respond? Do we respond for each other and support each other? And this environment, I think we've done an amazing job. And it's not us, the people. Let's be clear.
I think we've created, we sort of have created the environment and created sort of the platform, but it's the people that have sort of filled in the substance and helped with the culture. We gave them the opportunity, right? Because we weren't, but I think that you're right. It is the people ultimately at the end of the day.
Definitely passed on the baton.
We've passed on the baton.
Oh, wow. I mean, we're done?
Yeah.
No.
Like we're out.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean.
Maria is going to take over. It's going to be
goodness.
Bast Desvergunat.
Oh, no.
Wait, why? Why do you?
I think
it all comes out. It all comes out. Here we go.
Sounds better.
That's fine. You know what? I'm out. Enjoy yourself.
How about Desvergunat Miranda?
Hey.
That's the first.
And Rosado. You got to throw Rosado in there, too.
All right. Maria, this has been so much fun.
Has it?
I feel like,
for her, I don't know. For us, it's been fun.
I do want to, let's ask you a few more questions.
Oh,
okay.
What would you say is the most challenging thing about working in a law firm?
Trying to juggle, I guess, all the deadline, trying to prioritize work. I think that's the most challenging.
Yeah.
Working with, hey, I got to do this, but I got to do this. Which one do I do first? So I think that's the most challenging. Obviously, our work is great work that we do, complicated work, but I think that for me, though, that's the one. Handling, prioritizing which deadline goes first, which one do I do first, just trying to manage that.
So how do you do that?
Oh, man, I don't know. Sometimes I really don't know how I do it. I don't know. I guess lately I've been trying to focus on one case and just spend an hour or two on that case, and go from there. Hopefully, that I feel like that's been working and obviously helps me to focus on one task. And, because sometimes we're like, I got to do this and this and this.
Right.
It can be
right. Task.
Well, it's not just tasks, it's different lawyers that are given those tasks too, right?
Yes.
So, with the way we structure it, it's not you work for these couple of attorneys. It's open season, if you will. So you have a particular matter, and so you may have 5 matters, and there could be different lawyers on each one. Mm-hmm. And so that's difficult, right, in dealing with that. And is that time management for you? How to deal with that stuff, right?
It is time management, but it's also letting them know.
Communication.
Hey, I got this also going on.
Right. So communication and time management.
That's the
And how did you, did you feel like you had those skills? How do you, how did you get there?
I feel like I did have some of those skills prior to coming probably at school. I did study some design when I was at Miami-Dade. So I had a lot of deadlines, times when I had to get projects in, present, and just pretty much I feel like that helped me in this area.
Yeah, I think you also get better at it with time.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the challenges for young or newer people, newer lawyers, newer paralegals, newer staff, figuring out how to prioritize.
Yeah.
Because you can be paralyzed by the volume of work that you have, or you can say, okay, I got these 12 problems. I'm going to solve them one at a time. Boom, 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 just focus. But I do think your comment about focusing on one case at a time is really pertinent because there's a tendency, and now we have all these inputs. We have email, and then we have a text message, and we're on WhatsApp, and we have an internal mode of communication. So you have inputs coming from all over the place, and the tendency is to respond, and we see it all the time. An email will come in from the client, and a minute later, someone's in my office saying, "Did you see the email?" No, I haven't seen the email. I'm working on something right now. Yeah. But also the point of the email is that we're going to read it.
We'll get there eventually. We'll get there.
But the bouncing is really unproductive. It's and I have this debate with my kids all the time about the ability to multitask. But the reality is, even though you think you're doing 2 things at once, you're bouncing back and forth between those 2 things. You're going back and forth, whether you're aware of it or not. Your brain is not doing both things at once. So, and then when we're doing it at work, we're just shifting, and it's so inefficient. I fall prey to it all the time. When I come into the office, I have my list. I'm going to get through these 10 things, and then, something pops up. I got to respond to that. And then when I'm in the middle of that, and then I'll say, Brett, why haven't you responded to my email? And then I go to my...
I never hit send.
I never hit send. It was not his fault. I forgot to hit send.
Exactly.
Right. I've seen that in Via. I'll ask, how come somebody didn't respond? I'm like, it didn't go through. That happens on airplanes all the time. I think I send something and it doesn't go through. But anyway.
I think what also helps me is using my support system, like staff. We have great staff here, and I'm very appreciative because without them, I could not do what I do.
Like Nelson?
Like Nelson,
Yeah.
definitely Nelson.
So a shout out to Nelson.
He is a true utility player.
He really is.
This guy can do anything. And if you give him a problem, like a new thing, like for example, a podcast recording switchboard, or whatever you call that. I'm calling it a switchboard. It's definitely not a
It's 1929, ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever. What is this thing? What's this machine called? What do we call it?
Who cares?
It's got a lot of knobs.
It's got a lot of knobs that he turns. I think he's just turning
knows. Yeah, I think he just turns them randomly
to make it seem like he's doing something. I don't.
Now he's crossing.
He's
arms
talking. Yeah, look at him. And he's got his headphones. He got the big headphones on, like he's doing something.
Yes,
yeah.
We agree. Our staff is amazing, and it is a collaborative work environment. And you, because you're on this podcast, are so critical to our success. So
yes,
thank you.
Thank you
for all that you do.
Thank you
for
Maria.
Inspiring us.
And thanks for agreeing to be on the podcast.
Yeah. It's taken us a long time.
Yeah, really.
We've been in negotiation with her people for many months to try to make this happen.
Exactly.
We had to have a list of pre-approved questions. It was really, I thought it was going to be
you
guys are hilarious.
easier. Cross platforms, and she's got sponsors, and we had to deal with all that.
If you enjoyed this episode,
it's a good segue.
Leave us a review. You know what? I've been listening to our podcast, and I'm always asking for 5-star reviews, and that's a little presumptuous. Why? Give us whatever review you want to give us.
Review.
I'm hoping it's 5 stars, but I don't want to just ask for 5
Keep it to yourself.
We want honest feedback. So if you have some feedback, share it with us, and more importantly, share the show with your friends. Share the show with what's the name of the person who referred you to us?
Keziah.
Share the show with Keziah. Keziah, we hope you're listening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Thanks, Maria. Nelson. Thank you, sir.
For more information on this show and other resources, visit bastamron.com and connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at Bast Amron.